Do you ever pour out your heart to someone only to be met with silence? Like you really lay it all on the line. What hurts you, what's killing you, what you feel like you desperately need, and all you get back is... I think sometimes praying can feel like that. But in today's video, we're going to explore this ancient idea that the silence isn't because you're being ignored. It's because all of heaven is experiencing your prayers deeply and preparing a powerful response. But first, hi, my name's Corey, and you're watching RedeemerOnline.church, and it's my mission to help you understand and practice the Christian faith, especially if you don't go to church right now. And if that's of interest to you, hit that subscribe button. Right now, we're going through the book of Revelation together, trying to understand what this wild apocalyptic vision actually meant to its original audience, so that you and I can better understand what it might mean, if anything, for us. And in this portion of the vision, the author, John, has been watching a lamb, a representative of Jesus, as it reveals the contents of a scroll that represent God's plan for history, everything that has, is, and will happen. And with each seal the lamb breaks to read the scroll, more is unveiled. The first 4 broken seals reveal the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Then we see disaster on earth affecting every person at every level, and no one can escape it. And then we see images of angels choosing to protect some from calamity who will serve God amidst all this chaos on earth. And this section culminates in this party celebration of God's victory over evil and being reunited with his innumerable multitude of people. The final seal, though, when it gets broken, this whole hush comes over the entire heavenly throne room. When he opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and 7 trumpets were given to them. Another angel who had a golden censer, which is kind of like a giant bowl, came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all God's people on the golden altar in front of the throne. The smoke of the incense, together with the prayers of God's people, went up before God from the angel's hand. Okay, what's going on here? Well, the entire story of evil throughout history was just told. The 4 horsemen aren't a representation of evil that will come, signaling the end of the apocalypse. They're a representation of evil that humanity has struggled with in every age since the beginning, until God will finally carry out his justice decisively. And then the story ends with a victory party. So what's this moment of silence then? It's the calm before the storm. It's that pregnant pause before the decisive action. You see, John's vision of God's battle with evil isn't over with this scroll. He's about to run it back. He's about to take another crack at it. But before he does, he introduces this idea that heaven falls silent to the prayers of people on earth, which for those who offered those prayers, I think would be a tough sell. I mean, don't you wish God would say something to your prayers? Don't you wish you could have your answer? Don't you wish that you could at least be addressed in response? But no, silence. I'm sure this was the frustration of John's first audience. The original readers of Revelation have felt this silence when they were suffering, when they were crying out to God because their family members were being murdered, when they were begging God to do something about all of the injustice in their world. They felt that heavenly silence deeply, which is maybe your frustration too, right? Maybe you've offered desperate prayers to the divine only to be met with nothing. But notice the details here. Heaven doesn't just hold silent space to hear those prayers. They're experienced. They're offered with a lot of incense. They're heard, yes, but they're also smelled and felt, tasted and seen. Sure, it's silent, but it's not because God is ignoring them. It's not because heaven suddenly became empty. It's because everyone in heaven, including God, is fully experiencing those prayers. And while hearing them, God has these characters moving into position. Preparations are being put in place. 7 angels are handed 7 trumpets. And what are those trumpets for? Well, they're the trumpets of war. We're going to watch as each blast from the trumpet is going to signal the beginning of another battle between God and evil. You see, silence isn't absence. It's preparation for God's violence against evil. Everyone in John's vision in the heavenly throne room waits with bated breath. What is God going to do with the desperate pleas of his people? People who are weary of being trampled by evil. I mean, you can hear a pin drop in the room. And then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and hurled it on the earth. And there came peals of thunder, rumblings, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake. Then the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared to sound them, the trumpets of God's war against evil, the trumpets of God's response to the prayers of his people. Fire of his judgment gets unleashed on earth. And what comes next is some of the wildest imagery in the entire Bible. But before we get to that, I just want to sit with this image that John offers for a second. This image of desperate prayers being fully experienced in heaven, not just listened to, but heard, tasted, seen, smelt, and felt. Heaven's silence is not absence. God hears those prayers. And look, it's tough because God's timing isn't my timing. And John's message to his readers then is that God hears your prayers. And in the silence that you feel deeply, he's preparing his response. He's putting things into place. John wants his readers to know that God will act to bring about justice, to make things right on earth as it is in heaven. So keep praying. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and hit subscribe if you like this video. Join the email list if you want more tools and resources for practicing your faith, especially if you don't go to church right now. And if you'd like customized, personalized conversations about your faith journey, I'd be happy to chat with you one-on-one to help you gain clarity on what it might look like for you to grow spiritually outside the walls of the conventional church. If that's something you're interested in, just throw a wave emoji in the comments and we'll get connected. Next time, we're going to take a look at those wild images. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.